Hey, in this video I want to talk about a hollow wax and explain what it is, because a lot of people ask, how do I make my sculptures permanent? And it's really not an easy question to answer because it's really hard for them to understand. You almost need video footage to back up what you're saying so that they understand how it works. Here's a photo from my Instagram page, and this was taken back in 2012 when the piece was completed. You can see it in clay, but I can't just put this type of sculpture in a kiln. It is actually oil-based clay, and what I have to do is take a mold of that sculpture and then use that mold to sort of reproduce the piece in a hollow wax. So let me show you what a hollow wax is. Here I have the Bison Hunter. This is one of the first pieces I created and actually had cast in bronze. It's a pretty large piece. It's not very often that I produce one of these out of the edition. It's very, very time consuming and expensive. Once the mold is done, this piece has to be cast in an industrial environment. And I have to work very closely with professionals in each department. Each person that I work with is a specialist in his own field, whether it be the wax chase, metal chase, metal pour, or the patina. Patinas are very, very difficult because to get the color on the metal, which is the patina, what's happening is actually you are forcing a chemical reaction that would normally take different chemicals or pollutants, and over years, months or years, sometimes tens of years, it would start to produce a color on the surface of the metal. But when a patineur, the person who creates the patina, gets a hold of the piece, he actually uses a hot torch and he will speed up that chemical reaction within seconds. And he'll use different types of formulas and different applications of heat for certain times, literally down to seconds, to make a difference in the actual patina or color that the surface of the metal will be once he's done. So it's really a very complex process all the way through. And it's very, very challenging, even though you have a mold. The mold is only a guide. And what it can do is it can actually help you pour a hollow wax. And the way this is cast is the same way that fine jewelry is cast. So it's not cheap and it's very difficult. You know, it's not really something that I can just make a phone call and order one. You know, if it was a smaller piece, I could do that. If it was really simple dump mold, that's why those types of sculptures cost significantly less than a complex piece like this. This is hundreds of hours of sculpting, molding, chasing, and then casting, all put together to produce the final product. It'll actually be covered in a ceramic shell, you know, which is going to be heated up so this wax melts and pours out of, creating a cavity inside a ceramic shell that the hot metal can go into. And bronze needs to be heated up to around 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. As always, I talk about Jason the World Traveler's channel, and it's really interesting because he's very skilled and he's actually self-taught. He knows how to cast in bronze out of his garage at home, and there's very few people that know how to do that. He's the only person I ever met that could do that, and he does a great job. And what he does on his YouTube channel is he shares how this process works. And you can take a look at some of his videos. He did the Fibonacci Fox for me. I sculpted it, took a mold, I actually poured the wax and chased it. And chasing is a very tedious process. I have to go through and correct every little tiny detail on this sculpture, on the surface. And because what's going to happen is when it goes into that ceramic shell, that shell is going to take every little tiny bit of texture and detail. So there's no going back. It's much harder to fix once it's actually in metal than when it's in wax. So there's a lot to the process, but since I had this here available, I thought I would share this with you today. It's pretty interesting, you know, to see one of these. when you see the final product, it's pretty amazing how I get to that point. And it's really, really not an easy process. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button. Please leave some feedback. Tell me if you've ever actually seen a bronze sculpture that was cast, or if you've ever known someone who does that, or you understand how it works. So it's really interesting though, when people, see how this is done. There are very few people who can actually get from point A to point B to point C and so on to get to the final product. There's just so many steps involved. So that's it for today. Subscribe if you haven't yet. More videos coming out this year. Thanks for watching. I will see you all next time.